I am here in one of the labs at the Johns Hopkins Center for Immunization Research, and today we're chatting with Dr. Sabundayo. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you so much.
So tell us about investigational vaccines and what those are.
So vaccines in general are things that are made from small amounts of weak or dead germs, things like bacteria and viruses, toxins, that sort of thing. And we use those in order to prevent disease. So an investigational vaccine is one that has been approved by the United States Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, for use in a clinical trial in humans. And it's not approved at this point to be used out into the general public.
Gotcha. So what are some of the testing procedures that are gone through for each vaccine before it enters a clinical trial?
So there are a couple of things that go on before we introduce it into humans. The first part really is an exploratory part. It's done by researchers, usually in academic institutions, and using their expertise as researchers with that disease and with vaccines, then they kind of come together and think about ways that they can come up with a vaccine to prevent a disease. So that's an exploratory stage. It usually takes about 2 to 4 years to do that. And then from there, they move into the preclinical testing. And that's really where we think about test tubes and when we talk about animal testing. So they'll start with test tubes, they'll put it into a test tube and see if that vaccine will prevent something happening in that test tube. And then from there, they move on to animals. And really at that point, we're looking for safety, making sure that it seems to be safe, and then also that it's producing an immune response. So when I say immune response, I mean like your body's reaction to having that in there in a protective way. And then other things that we'll look for at that point is the dose. What kind of dose should we be giving? How should we be giving it? Is it given up the nose? Is it given as an injection under the skin? That sort of thing. And then also perhaps how many doses do we need to give? 1, 2, 3 doses, that sort of thing. And then they'll use that to adapt it into how should we move this forward into humans.
I see. So a lot of testing that's going on before it even gets to all of you. So tell us a little bit more about what characteristics make a successful vaccine candidate.
Well, a successful vaccine candidate is something that's going to prevent infection with that organism, that germ, that bug, and then it's going to prevent disease. You want to make sure that, like I said, the body is really going to react to having it there in a positive way. Mm-hmm. It makes antibodies, things that come out in your body to fight those germs, those bugs that you come in contact with every day, and then also when you get exposed to something that's a little more serious.
So finally, tell us why conducting these investigational vaccine trials are so important to our community as a whole.
Well, we want to make sure that we're preventing serious illness and disease within the community. We want to make sure that by having these vaccines, we can prevent things that would cause other problems like complications from those diseases, hearing loss, an amputation, paralysis, brain damage, death even from some of these diseases. So we want to be able to prevent that, both within yourself to protect yourself, but also you want to think about protecting those around you. So your loved ones, your family, your friends, or even people that you come in contact with every day at school, at the mall, at the supermarket, something like that. So that's very important to protect both yourself and the community. And then another part that's really important is protecting those who can't get vaccines. So the very, very young infants, and then also people who their immune systems may not be as healthy as they could be. So for instance, cancer patients who are getting chemotherapy, they oftentimes can't get vaccines, and if they get one of these diseases, it could be very, very serious for them. So by getting everyone else vaccinated, then you can help protect not only yourself, but the community as a whole.
Very good. Well, thank you so much for chatting with us today.
Thank you.